If I can't be an astronaut, I think I'll be a coach driver.
Come on! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm George Massey. Welcome to Food for Thought, episode 4. What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't like this question. I think it should be removed, abandoned, left behind and discarded. Why? Because of this. If you were to take a child into a sweet shop, and there's amazing variety, incredible choice, Astro Belts, cola bottles, lemon sherbets, Haribos, sugar glistening from the shelves like a cosmos of stars, and then you said to that child, okay, now you can choose one thing, just one, and that's the only thing you're going to be able to have for the rest of your life. How would the child feel? And how difficult a decision would it be? Obviously, the child would have an incredibly difficult time choosing, and whatever they choose, they won't really be happy, will they? They won't be happy with their choice because they will be thinking about all the alternatives, all of the options that they missed out on. And I liken that to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now let's flip this. If you took a child into a sweet shop and you said to them, look around, look at all there is to choose from, look at the jelly tots and the Parma violets and the dip dabs and the wham bar, and you said, pick one sweet, and next week we will come back and you can try something else. You can make another choice, and every week you will be able to pick something different. Well, the child would have an easier time making a choice, wouldn't they? They would still want to try all of them, most kids do, but they would be happier knowing that if perhaps they don't like the sweet that they chose, well, they get to come back and they get to try something else. So relating this back to the question of what do you want to be when you grow up, I think a much better question for children, young adults and sometimes even adults is not what do you want to be, but what do you want to do right now? That is a much, much, much better question, and I'll tell you why. Because over the course of our lives, things change. We change. Our loves, our passions, our enthusiasms change. You might fall in love with something when you're young. For example, a CD, an album by your favorite artist, and you will love that album for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, and then what happens? You get tired of it, you get sick of it, you want something new, you want to find something else that stimulates you, that inspires you. And sometimes careers can be the same. If there's anything at any point in your life that you are inspired to do, that you are passionate about, never go into it with the fear that, well, I love to do this, but if I do it, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. No, that's not true. Life is long enough. You should always think of it kind of like a relationship. If you have a passion, whether it's songwriting, writing, being a dancer, being an athlete, being an actor, you can do all of these things. You can be an actor, you can join a theatre group, you can be in plays for a year, 2 years. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. But if you don't do it, you will wind up like the child in the sweet shop who had to make one choice and in the end never chose anything. You'll never fully commit. And if you never fully commit, it is like falling in love with somebody.
And now, to prove this point, a list of people who are totally badass.
Michael Crichton, he wrote Jurassic Park, he wrote Disclosure, he wrote A Case of Need. Okay, he was a writer, an excellent writer, he wrote great novels. But what else did he do? He directed Westworld. He directed Coma,
The most thrilling suspense film of the year.
which is a terrific film. So not only was he a writer of novels, but he was also a film director. That's quite impressive. That's 2 careers. But what else was he? He was a fully qualified medical doctor. So he was a doctor, he was a novelist, he was a film director, and one other thing, because of his experience in medicine, he created the TV show ER. One of the best and one of the most famous, most well-loved television shows of all time, and certainly regarded as the most authentic medical drama of all time. Osamu Tezuka, the godfather of manga. You know, Akira, Ninja Scroll, Fist of the North Star, Pokemon, The Guyver, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. You can thank one man for that, Osamu Tezuka. You can even thank him really for things like The Lion King, because he created characters who Disney copied.
This looks familiar.
But who is he? He created Astro Boy, perhaps his most famous character.
Go, 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 Astro Boy!
But more importantly, he made the comic book something that was not just for children. He made it very cinematic and quite adult. His graphic novel Message to Adolf is just one example, a tremendous piece of work. But more than that, he directed over 30 films. And he drew over 150,000 comic pages in his life. How any one man can do that is unbelievable. 150,000 comic pages. He would sometimes do 30, 40 pages a day, and on top of that, he was directing films. Okay, that's 2 careers right there, which he pushed to the absolute extreme. But more than that, he was also a fully qualified medical doctor. I mean, it blows my mind. So those are 3 incredibly difficult careers, and he had all of them. Charlie Chaplin, film director, comedian, star. He wrote his films, so he was a writer, and he did the music for his films as well. He was a musician. He famously, Michael Jackson's favourite song, Smile, Smile When Your Heart Is Breaking, that's a Charlie Chaplin song. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I often think of him as a huge 80s action star.
Stick around.
But he was the #1 bodybuilder in the world, that's one career. Then he was an actor, a film star, that's another career. Then he was governor of California, that's another career.
I'm running for governor to lead a movement for change and give California back its future. Our farm products feed the world, and our technology is second to none.
Tom Lehrer, that incredible songwriter, he was a scientist.
There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen, and oxygen, and nitrogen, and rhenium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium. Thank you. You may be interested to know that there is an older, much earlier version of that song, which is due to Aristotle, and which goes like this. There's earth and air and fire and water.
If that wasn't already too many, which it was, last but not least,
Trey Parker, one of my absolute favourite, incredible talent, incredible ability, okay? He created South Park. He's the writer and director of every episode of South Park except for like 4 or 5. You look at the end of every episode of South Park, written and directed by Trey Parker. He's also a musician. All the music you hear in South Park and South Park the movie, he composed. He even sings most of it.
Sometimes I think, when I look up real high, that there's such a big world up there. I'd like to give it a try.
Off to the movies we shall go, where we learn everything that we know, 'cause the movies teach us what our parents don't have time to say.
and nothing's in your tail. You ain't going back to see till they land his tail.
He does many voices in his own show.
I know, but I don't know what to say. Nothing works on him.
Hey, tell him he's fat.
Hey, Grunsky, you losing weight?
He's directed movies, the Book of Mormon, so he really understands the art form of the musical.
Hello, my name is Elder Young. Hello, did you know that Jesus lived here in the USA?
And more recently, him and Matt Stone made the South Park video game.
Video games are very, very hard. We could have made probably 3 more Broadway musicals in the time it's taken to try to make this game.
These people all have one thing in common. They understand that life isn't about choosing what you want to do when you grow up. They all understand that when you fall in love with something, dedicate yourself to it. Dedicate as much time as you can to it while you love it, because you might not love it forever. You might not want to be a film director forever. You might not want to be a pop star or an actor forever, just like you might not fall in love with someone forever. But while you love it, do it. Do it. By God, do it. Life is long enough. Life is long enough. Think seriously. It sounds maybe naive, it sounds childish, it sounds overly optimistic, but honestly, think of the world like a sweet shop. You have countless choices. There's no end of things that you can try. We're here once, we're alive. Don't get stifled, don't get repressed, don't get oppressed by the fear of whatever I choose, this is it. This is the only thing I'm ever going to be able to do for the rest of my life. No, that's not how it works, okay? Okay, be creative. Just as you might say, I want to watch all those films, I want to read all those books, I want to read all those comic books, right? Be the creator as well. Consume and create. Well, I love watching films. I'd love to make a film. I love reading books. I'd love to write a book. I love watching people dance. I'd love to go to a dance class and see how it's done. You don't have to be the biggest in the world, but you can do it, because what else is the point? Why have a body? Why have a brain? Why have a mind? Why have imagination if you never get an opportunity to use it? So see life like a sweet shop. It's multiple choice. It's a banquet. It's a feast. It's a party. It's a jamboree. It's all there for us. It's like a great fruit tree, and the fruit is hanging down and it's ripe and it's ready for picking. So pick it, take it off, take a bite. If you don't like it, throw it away and try the next fruit. Otherwise, you'll just become indecisive, never commit to anything, and the more time that progresses, that's more time that you'll be reflecting upon all the things you didn't do instead of all of the things you did. Most people who are professional in their industries suck. Let's be honest, most film directors suck. Thousands of writers have a career writing books that suck. Thousands of songwriters get paid ridiculous amounts of money for songs that suck and lyrics that suck. They can't even play instruments, and they're songwriters, film directors, musicians, authors.
There's a magic moment, a really magic moment, if you read enough, that will always come to you if you want to be a writer, where you put down some book and say, this really sucks. I can do better than this.
So don't think of it like your competition is, oh my god, I have to be the best who's ever been. If I'm gonna do it, I have to choose it and I have to be... That's not how it works. Your competition should be you. Just like playing a video game. You get better and you get better and you get better. Don't think about the whole world. Don't think, but I can't direct. Look at this shit. This film, this is crap. And it's directed by John Landis, the guy who directed the Thriller music video. He directed An American Werewolf in London, right? He directed Trading Places.
You boys don't know what you're doing, I can see that already.
A great film director. This is a piece of shit, okay? So even great film directors can mess up. So forget the competition, just compete with yourself. If you made a film, even if it's bad, you'll still be proud of it. If you write a novel, even if it's bad, you'll still be proud of it. If you write a screenplay for a film, even if it's bad, you'll still be proud of it. You'll still say, well, hell, at least I did it. And that's much better than saying, I wish I did it. I'm going to finish with one thing. Roald Dahl, known as the world's... He was in the Second World War as a fighter pilot. His plane crashed and he was asked to tell the story of what he went through, the ordeal of being in a burning hot wreckage, an aeroplane, a ball of fire, climbing out onto hot sand where he'd crashed in the desert. And he was asked to tell the story to another writer. And that writer would write the story and put it in a magazine. And Roald Dahl had trouble explaining it. So Roald Dahl said, tell you what, I'll go home, I'll write the story, I'll send it to you, you can rewrite it, and then you can publish it in the magazine. And when Roald Dahl wrote it, the magazine got it, and they said, this is so brilliant, this doesn't need rewriting. And they published it, and they said, if you have any more, send them to us. So he started to write more. My point is you don't know what's in you. He didn't know what was in him. He never thought he was going to be a writer. He never planned to be a writer. Okay, but if you don't try, you won't know. You won't know what talent is beneath the surface, what is in you waiting to get out, desperate to get out. So give it a go. Find out. Get to know yourself a little bit. Get to know and discover and learn what you are capable of. To be or not to be, that is the question. To be, that is the answer. Life is like a box of chocolates. Try them all.